Hi, Russell here. Well, you're just about to watch a video by Steve. It's really good. It goes on to explain to you his whole 18 video course. You actually watched, if you watched the first part of this video, video one, you will see it was an overview of the course. Now he really goes into tell you what each module is going to do. He really goes into a lot of detail. Believe me, I've done a lot of courses with regards to promoting ClickBank products and using AdWords, and this is by far the most informative course, and it's a course that will get you somewhere. He explains the um, value of tracking. Tracking is really important here, and if you do track correctly and just use a few tricks that Steve will point you to, you can really take a campaign and make a huge profit. I know Steve is making some serious money, but to tell you the honest truth, at the moment I am making about between three. Well, last month I made 3,000. Actually, the month before I made $3,000, and last month I made 5,000, or just under, about 4,890. Just after my AdWords expenses and that. So you know, $5,000 a month at the moment is not like crazy money, but especially in this economy. But you know, $60,000 a year just for working a couple hours a day is not that crazy either, and it's not even 7 days a week. It's working, when I say a couple hours, probably 3 days a week. So watch the video, and if you want to get on the list to see more of these videos are actually a part of Steve's content, but I'm putting them here up for free. But if you just click the link just above me over here, you'll be taken to a page to get on that list. Also, if you'd like to leave some comments down below, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, and welcome to video two. We wanted to try and put together some tips and just helpful hints really on making it through all this material and trying to get the most out of it. The first thing I'd suggest is that you really watch all the videos through once, just from beginning to end, without worrying about mastering the material or without even really worrying about doing anything. In fact, I might even just pause and pass on the taking notes on the first go round, and just go all the way through the material, because there were a couple of times when I felt like I would have liked to have presented two or three things sort of at the same time because they were interrelated. But when you're trying to do a step-by-step process in sequential steps, sequential videos, it's difficult to do that. So if you watch the whole thing together all at once, you'll get a foundation for everything, and then you can go back and kind of watch it much more closely and follow each of the steps and sort of follow along and take notes then. So that would be my recommendation. We talk in some of the videos, talk a little bit about certain websites to go to, for help for domain names, and Google has a few tools and some other things. And so all those links are broken out for you, and they are actually underneath the videos on the video page. So the links that we talk about, say in video two, are put right below the video for your convenience there. And just a word about the videos. We tried really hard to make a balance between quality of the videos, what you can see on the screen, and kind of the size of the videos to deal with when you're watching them streaming or if you want to download them. I think we've come up with the best compromise, but it is a compromise. There were a couple times when the screen is hard to read, and so, but all you have to do is there's a great fix for that. There's two fixes really, but as you're watching streaming video, there is a little square button there on the right hand side of the control bar, which you can, if it's not showing, if you just mouse over the video, you'll see it there. And if you push that button, it will pop up full screen. It'll zoom right in. And it's decent quality even at full screen because we recorded this in pretty high definition, high resolution anyway. And so my head gets way too big, but at least you can read, the screen. So if you do have a couple moments during all these videos that you feel you need to, really see a little bit better, just push that button, and you'll be able to. And then obviously the other fix is you can download these videos, and if you download them, they are in a little higher resolution, but then you can also, sort of expand and zoom into them as you watch them on a desktop player. So, those would be the two recommendations for that problem. We do recommend a few tools, not that many actually, in this process. It was really important to me to be able to provide you with a course, a package that you didn't have to buy anything else. And well, I think we've done that because all throughout the material, I show you the ways to do this without having the tools. Having said that, there are just a couple tools that I'm a paying customer of, and I use every single day. And I just absolutely strongly advise you to get those tools. I mean, they make your life so much easier. And if you're serious about making a living in this business, it's a small investment to get these tools, and it could make all the difference in the world. Okay, so I highly recommend them, but you don't have to. So as I said, go back and watch the videos again after you've watched them all through the first time. And then another thing is that I want everybody to be aware this is not a primer on or instructional videos on how to use AdWords or on how to use SpeedPPC or how to use the AdWords editor or some of the other tools that we offer. I mean, we show them we show them in the context of using them to get to our goal, which is to make money with ClickBank and AdWords. But there's material all over the web on what AdWords is and how to set up an AdWords account. And if you buy SpeedPPC, there's excellent tutorials. The AdWords editor is free. That's one tool that's free, and they have some pretty decent documentation on how to use it. Although it's absolutely an acquired taste. I resisted using AdWords editor for a long time, but now I use it every day. So anyway, my point is that I didn't want to sort of bog down all of this material with hours and hours of video on signing into an AdWords account, entering your billing information. So, I mean, really, that stuff is available elsewhere. So there's a lot of material here, tons, and I wanted it to all be neat. I didn't want kind of this fluff stuff, particularly for the people who, geez, I already have an AdWords account. I don't need to sit through that. A little pet peeve of mine. It's one of my personal problems with a lot of internet marketing products out there. They spend 90% of their time in the introduction stage, speaking to people who are beginners. There's nothing wrong with that, but then they don't get to the meat. But what I don't want to do is scare away the beginners, because this does not mean this is not a good product for you. It just simply means that you got a little bit of supplemental learning to do outside of this product, and it's not a lot. You simply really just need to be able to set up an AdWords account, and maybe set up a quick campaign that's paused just so you know how to use the interface, and download the free AdWords editor tool, and read the documentation on that, and that's really about all you need to do. The rest would be in the videos. But I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. Here's the process. This is it right here. This is our product. A little bit more detail in here, but you essentially want to, in order to identify one or two profitable ClickBank campaigns. The first thing you want to do is get a handful that you think are worthy of your time and effort to even invest in to test, to see if they could become some of those great products. And there are thousands of ClickBank products. So how do you figure out which ones to even think about? So it's part of our process. We teach you how to pick the products, and then essentially for each of the products that you pick, you follow this process that we're going to go through, and you find the winners. You find the ones that have the potential to make a lot of money. And then you just scale them, and you just go after all the traffic you can, all the different places you can get traffic, and keep your conversions high, get them higher, get your bids down over time, and make more and more money with them. And then rinse and repeat. I mean, that's really what it's all about. I would strongly encourage you to set goals, and I mean, that was really important for me. I know when I was first starting out, helped me to not get too discouraged. Set 3 month, 6 month, 9 month goals, and those goals should be things like I want to be able to bring in X amount of profit income per month, or this monthly kind of run rate, and then by say in 3 months you want to be able to bring in $5,000 a month in profit. I don't know what your goal is, but that would seem to be a nice goal. and then sort of work backwards and say, okay, well maybe I need, in order to bring $5,000 a month profit, maybe I need to get two or three, good ClickBank products in 90 days. And so maybe that means I'm going to go through this process two or three times in 90 days. So just set goals and track your progress, and reach out to others. There's chances of you having a question that's never been asked before are pretty slim at this point, I would think. So, you reach out to others. There are a lot of people on, say, the Warrior Forum, the Digital Point Forum, SitePoint Forum. Um, they're really friendly and open to answering questions. And then in our forum, if you're a member of our membership program, well, we have a forum as well. So, a great place to ask questions. Um, don't get discouraged. It's so easy to get discouraged. I mean, I see it all the time when I talk to people. I certainly got discouraged at first. Until you make that first sale, internet marketing is this crazy thing that you think is never going to work. But you just got to hang in there. I mean, the people that fail, they either never start, right, or they just quit way too soon. They just don't give it enough time. It's all a numbers game. You have to have a certain amount of traffic in order to see if something's really going to work, and in order to see how it's all going to play out. If you cancel a test campaign after 3 clicks, you don't know anything. You know absolutely nothing. Even if you cancel after 50 clicks, you know absolutely nothing. It's just statistics come into play here, and you need enough volume in order to see what's happening. Um, the magic, the secret, really, is in the combination of the keywords that you pick, the phrases that you bid on, the ads that you display for people to click on, the pre-sale page, the landing page, whatever you want to call it, and then the actual ClickBank product itself. And they all have to work together, okay, in concert in order to get these big winners. Okay, there can't be one weak link in there, and there can't be one link that just doesn't really go with the rest of it, and so on and so forth. So it's really key, and we'll talk a lot about that when we talk about what your story is that you're trying to develop and what your landing page is going to be. But that is the big concept. Okay. Um, be prepared. Only some of these campaigns are going to be winners. You're going to pick 4 to 6. You're not going to find 4 to 6 winners. Okay. Um, just be prepared for that. I'm a home run hitter. I strike out, but when I hit the long ball. I mean, I hit big. I get home runs, and that's what I think the secret is. So the other secret though is that you want those strikeouts to be fast, cheap. You don't want to waste a lot of time on the stuff that's going to be strikeouts. You want to wait for the pitcher that you can hit, pitch that you can hit, and don't waste your energy, your time, your money, your effort on the times when you just know you're going to strike out. But you got to get the strikeouts to get the home runs, and that's the way it works. Okay, I'm done with baseball analogies, by the way. Not even a baseball fan. Okay, so that's all we're going to do for tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff. We want to get into the meat, so let's get going. Let's get on to video 3 and start this process.
Well, I hope you've liked watching that video. As I said before at the beginning of this video, if you just click the link above here now, then you will be able to see a little bit more about this. Also, I'll be giving you a lot of free stuff with this. If you click on the link over there, up here, it's just worthwhile going to have a look and just getting on the list just to see what Steve's next video is all about, because he really goes into some really good things about landing pages and what the do's and don'ts of what you should have in a landing page. So I advise you to click the link above, and if you don't click the link above, just at least leave some comments down below. That would be real great, and I'll see you with the next video. Thank you.